Hey guys, I'm Tim with BleepinJeep. If you have a 97 to 01 Cherokee like I do, you are probably no stranger to your liftgate not opening. In today's how-to, I'll show you how to fix that. So if you aren't familiar with the problem, this is the problem. You can sit here and you can play with this thing all day long. There just isn't enough grab inside here on that mechanism to pop the latch. So if you can't get this open, you might be SOL. I don't know how to fix it unless you can get it open. But as you know, if you have this problem, sometimes it'll open. When it opens, go buy a lottery ticket. No, keep it open. Don't shut it all the way. If you're out at work or out at the grocery store and you get this thing to open up, don't shut it all the way. Just leave it open, go home, fix it right away. Or you could probably cut a giant hole on the inside, but we're going to try to avoid that. So the key here is to get your Jeep on perfectly level ground. Not this way, not that way. Right now we're on my driveway, sloped down a little bit, but that's fine. And on this plastic bar, if you push in just the right spot, occasionally you'll get it to click, which I'm not seeming to be able to do right now. Oh, hear a click? All right, got it open. It's all about that plastic bar. Okay, once you have it open, we'll have to remove the interior plastic trim piece. We'll start right here with your grab handle. So on this Jeep, it looks like it's a T30 Torx bit inside here, and I don't know what to tell you about that because I'm pretty sure they're Phillips screws on my other Jeeps. But that doesn't really surprise me. Jeep's got this weird fascination with using mostly metric bolts and then every now and then throwing a SAE bolt in there. So hex head, Torx head, Phillips head, doesn't surprise me. Alright, that's what that looks like. And you'll have two of those. Once you have your grab handle off, start removing all the Phillips head screws from the plastic trim. Once you have all the screws removed, there should just be some plastic connectors holding this in place. Delicately remove those, try not to break them. Try not to break them, but they usually do. If they do break, you can pick up a new set for a couple bucks at your local auto parts store. Oh yeah, and don't break this plastic thing either. They're about 200 bucks on eBay. Those are the plastic fasteners that I was talking about. If you do happen to break one of these just slide out of here somehow, and you can buy a box of them for a few bucks. Alright, so we are sitting in the Jeep. This is a point of view basically from what I can see. And this is the back side of the latch mechanism right here. And this is what you're looking for. This is the culprit right here. It's a little hard to show on camera, especially only having one hand. But basically this threaded rod that you see here, the threads don't screw through anything. There's no point in those threads other than for this little clip to grab onto, but it's not threaded. And all 97 to 01 Cherokees have that same mechanism. And what happens over time is this threaded rod, slips through this little metal clip right here. I know it's hard to see with that zip tie. And anyways, as it slips out, you lose grab on your latch mechanism basically. And so what we need to do is adjust that and re-secure it the best we can so that it won't slip again. Alright, I have my latch pulling assistant here moving the mechanism so you can see it move a little bit. Go ahead and do it again. More, much as you can. Okay, so you can see it move there again. And basically you can tell that rod, it slips up on the whatever you want to call that it connects to there. So what we're going to have to do is move the rod, the threaded part of the rod, as low as we can, or move the whole rod up basically in that mechanism, and then that should give us more grab on our latch down in there. So here's that same connector rod with all the zip ties cut off, and that little piece of baling wire, that's factory. They all have that. And so what I would recommend doing is marking with a Sharpie where that thing sits right now in those clips, and then we're going to remove it completely and readjust the rod. I don't have my Sharpie on me. So if you, after you mark where it sits right now, for reference, you can just rip that thing out of there like that. With your connector rod dislodged here, take a second to open these clips up a little bit so you have a little more tension on the rod when you put it back in. I don't know if you can see that, but there's two clips, one on top, one on the bottom. Just put a flathead in there and twist them open a little bit. That'll help hold the rod tighter. Another thing I would recommend is finding a nylock to thread down. That's magnetic. Just find a nylock to thread down and lock it in place on top of this instead of that piece of factory baling wire. I don't have a nylock here in my garage right now, so I'm probably just going to end up zip tying it, but I bet a nylock or a jam nut, something of that sort, would be the way to go to do this right. So my clips are opened up a little more, and then I'm just going to pull this rod up as high as it'll go and clip it. Or if I can get it, clip it with one hand, with my left hand, back into place, and then I'll see if I can move this baling wire down tight on top of that clip so it can't slip again. And I'll probably throw a couple zip ties on there too for good measure. So I ended up just removing the baling wire completely from this one, and with the factory clamp in there stretched a little bit so it holds tighter, I then put a zip tie on as tight as I possibly could to keep it from slipping more. And like I said, I bet a nylock would really be the way to go. I just don't have one at hand right now, and I made a similar repair using a zip tie like you see here on my green Jeep that had the same problem, and my hatch has worked fine for over a year and a half now since I made that repair, so I'm not too worried about it. And I know it looks kind of ghetto, but remember, it was ghetto from the factory, so I think we're in okay shape here. Alright, so now we're going to go outside and we'll give it a try. Perfect. Alright, then we're ready to reinstall our factory trim piece there, and we're good to go. Alright guys, that's it for today's how-to. I know it was a pretty simple one. That's just one of those things that's uniquely Jeep. If you have a 97 to 01 Cherokee XJ, I guarantee you're going to have that problem if you haven't had it already. And I know several of you have asked for that how-to. It's pretty straightforward, and I'm sure there's a better way. Like I said, I'd recommend using a nylock. I just didn't have one, and I'm running zip ties in my green Jeep, and it's held up fine to dirt road vibrations, etc., and my latch still works fine. So I don't think you'll have a problem using baling wire like the factory did, or zip tie, as long as you can get it tight enough. Alright, well, check out BleepinJeep.com, check out the Facebook page, and we'll see you in the next video. Thank you for watching. Oh yeah, and don't forget to subscribe and thumbs up this video. Thank you.